kings would be really confused about some things. They would issue new coins, the coins would go out into the realm, and the coins would disappear. Where were these coins going? Peter the Great beheaded some 1,000 people for hoarding coins, and he could never figure out why when he issued silver coins, people would hide them or bury them in the fields. Why didn't they want to use these coins? What was so great about holding them? How come countries traded some things and not others? England and Portugal were sending wine and cheese back and forth, but some things never seemed to travel. Why was that? Well, out of these puzzles came the study of economics, and the people who advised these kings can be thought of as the first economists. And economists have continued to like puzzles ever since. Two of the things we're going to focus on today are prices and the form of competition. And let me say a little bit about them before we get there. Prices are these things that tell people how much something costs, how much they have to sacrifice to buy it, how important it is to make more of the thing. We're going to see a lot of prices today. By form of competition, I mean the people who make these things, are they competing with other firms to make it, or are they the only one out there making it? When they're the only one out there, we call them a monopolist. And we're going to spend a good deal of our time today understanding what's so interesting about monopolies, why governments care about them, why governments sometimes even like monopolies, and why you and I might not like them so much. Prices and competition, or its opposite, monopolies, are two central tools in the study of economics. These are the tools that we're going to be looking to use to solve problems. We want to understand the recent financial crisis that hit the world. We want to understand housing bubbles. We're going to start with prices. We're going to start with competition, and then we're going to understand the role of the government. So let's start with prices. Prices do everything. Prices tell oil companies when to dig deeper for oil. Prices tell me when to fly. Prices tell me when to fill my car with gas. Prices tell me whether to go to a restaurant early or go to the restaurant late. And in fact, when the restaurant doesn't offer price differentials, I'm a little disappointed. Sometimes on a rainy day, I think, boy, I bet there's nobody going out to the restaurant now. I wish the restaurant would drop the price, and then I'd be more eager to go to the restaurant. So sometimes we have prices and sometimes we don't. But when we have them, they're a little bit like magic. Now, this magic can be a little bit puzzling. And indeed, prices have puzzled economists for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Why do things cost what they do? Say I, eat a chocolate chip cookie. Why does that cookie cost $1? Well, first let's see the puzzle associated with it. You might be inclined to say, well, a really good cookie costs more. People really like it. Well, you might say the more important the thing is, the more it costs. If I say a house costs $300,000 and a cookie costs $1, why does the house cost more than a cookie? Your initial response might be, well, people need houses more. The cookie's a luxury. Therefore, the house costs more. But that's not really a successful way to think about it. Think of the following classic example, air. Air is basically free. And then things like a diamond are classically super expensive. Economists used to say, why is a diamond more expensive than a breath of air? Well, you already know the answer. The answer, you should say, is scarcity. There are very, very few diamonds. You have to dig deep in the ground to get the diamond, transport it thousands of miles, polish it, cut it, do this, do that. It's a lot of work. It's very hard to get them. There aren't many of them. Air, it's available. You just breathe it in. Well, let's go back to cookies and houses now. That's a little bit more complicated. Let's do cookies first. I love a good cookie. Imagine that I would pay $10 for a really fantastic, juicy chocolate chip cookie. Now, I never have paid $10 for a cookie, even though I would. If I go to a bakery, even my favorite bakery, and I walk in and I say, oh, how much are those fantastic cookies? The baker knows that I would pay $10 for the cookie. He can see it all over my face, but he says, well, that cookie's $3. Why doesn't he charge me $10? I mean, he might check out my face when I walk in and charge $10. But of course, if he did that, I would just go out to the sidewalk, I'd wait there, I'd wait for somebody else to go into the bakery and buy the cookie for $3. They would come out, and I'd give them $3.05 or something for the cookie. So sometimes we say the baker is unable to price discriminate among people. Well, that doesn't answer the question of why the cookie costs $3. So imagine the cookie sells for $5. The baker sees there's some people who really want the cookie. Baker starts raising his price, charging $5. What's the next thing that will happen? Well, other people will see You can make a lot of money running a bakery. Just gather together chocolate chips, rent an oven, get some flour, get the other ingredients necessary for making chocolate chip cookies, and you'll start making cookies, and the price will start dropping as more and more people offer cookies. They'll undercut one another, $4.50, $4, $3.99, until the price goes down to, well, to the amount that it'll cost that marginal bakery to produce that chocolate chip cookie. In the short run, if there's a lot of demand for the cookie, the price might rise. If suddenly 100 people like me rush into the store and say we all want the cookie, maybe the baker can raise the price a little bit in order to allocate the cookies that are there. But if that keeps happening, new bakers will enter the industry, bakeries will be popping up all up and down the street, and cookies will drop to $3, which is the cost of producing them. So prices of inputs are signaling the baker how to make the cookies. The price of the cookie is signaling me about buying the cookie, and my desire for the cookie is bringing new competitors into the industry. In the long run, the price of that cookie will be the cost of combining the inputs. Let's compare it to that house. Say you have a house selling for $300,000. Well, what does that mean? It means